Alright, in this video we're going to try to solve a linear system by using the elimination method. And you're probably asking yourself, well, what is the elimination method? Well, we use the elimination method to hopefully eliminate one of the variables in our linear equation. So we have a simple one variable equation that we can solve usually with one step. And this method is usually useful, or it's easy to use when you have two linear equations in our linear system where the coefficient of one of the variables are the same or they're opposites. And you can see in our first example here, the 7x minus 4y equals negative 30 and 3x plus 4y equals 10. If you look at the coefficient of my y, I have a minus 4. And the coefficient of my y in the second equation I have 4. Well, those are opposites of each other, and we know if we add opposites we always get 0. So I know if I do that, if I have 0y, that eliminates the y and I'll have just x's left over. So I can add these two equations together. So if I add them, we can just combine add our like terms and get a new equation. So here I have 7x plus 3x. Well, that's 10x. And like I said, negative 4y plus 4y. Well, that's going to get me 0y. And you don't have to write that, but for this first step I will. I'll have 10x plus 0 times y. Well, that's just 0. So 10x plus 0 equals a negative 30 plus 10. Well, that's just a negative 20. Okay, so we have, well, 10x plus 0 is just 10x, so I have 10x equals a negative 20. And then this is a simple one-step equation, right? Divided by 10, divide by 10. This cancels. We're left with x equals negative 2. So that's my x value. And then once you know your x value, you can substitute it into one of our original equations to find the value of y. I'm going to pick the second one, but it really doesn't matter. I can plug it into either one. So if I plug it into the second one, I have 3, and instead of x, I'm going to put negative 2 plus 4y equals 10. Well, I know 3 times a negative 2, that's just a negative 6 plus 4y equals 10. And then I have to add 6 to both sides to get rid of this negative 6. So if I add 6, I got to add 6 to this side to balance my equation. This cancels, and I get 4y equals 16. And then to solve for y, I have to divide by 4. We divide by 4, and we get y is equal to 4. So the ordered pair, that's the solution to this linear system, is the ordered pair negative 2, 4. The great thing I love about these equations is that when I have an answer, I can actually check my work. I can substitute it back into either equation, or actually both, and if it makes both of them a true statement, then we know that we did it right. So let's do the check. And like I say in class, if you do the check, it'll set you free. It'll set your mind free that you got the answer right, and can give you confidence for the next problem. So let's look at the first one. If I plug it into the first one, I have 7 times negative 2 minus 4 times 4. And we're wondering, does that equal a negative 30? Okay, so let's check it. Well, that's 7 times a negative 2. Well, that's just negative 14 minus 16. Well, negative 14 minus 16 is a negative 30. So that one's correct. And let's check it with the second one. So equation 2 is 3 times the negative 2 plus 4 times 4. And does that equal 10? Well, 3 times negative 2 is negative 6 plus 16. And we're wondering, does that equal, does that equal 10? Well, that does. We get negative 6 plus 16 is 10. And 10 equals 10. We did that one right as well. So we know we have the right answer. All right, let's look at another problem when our coefficients are not opposites but the same. Let's look at this one. We have 6x plus y equals 39 and 2x plus y equals a negative 17. You can see here that the coefficient of my y in both of these is 1. they're the same. And as I told you in class, when they're the same, we can just subtract. And if we subtract, we know that our y's are going to eliminate. So if we do that here, we go to subtract, we get 6x minus 2x. Well, that's just 4x. And y minus y, well, that cancels. That's just 0. So I have 4x, and that's going to equal 39 minus a negative 17. Well, again, remember, 39 minus a negative, that's the same as adding. So 39 minus 17 minus a negative 17 is the same as 39 plus 17, which is just going to get me 56. So I have 4x equals 56. So if I have 4x equals 56, we can divide by 4, and we get x equals, 4 goes into 56 14 times. Okay, so we have our x. Now we need to take our x and substitute it into one of the equations to find the y. Okay, again, it could be the first one, it could be the second one. I think the last problem I did, I plugged it into the second one, so I'm going to show you I can just plug it into this first one, and we can find our y by plugging it in that way. All right, so I'm going to do 6 times 14 plus y equals 39. Okay, well, 6 times 14, I know 6 times 10 is 60, and 6 times 4 is 24, so that's just going to be 84. 6 times 14 is 84, plus y equals 39. And I'm going to subtract 84 from both sides, subtract 84. Okay, this cancels. I'm going to get y equals, and here I'm going to get a negative. And remember, when we're subtracting negatives, we can just subtract like we always do and keep the sign of the larger. That's really the same as 84 subtract 39. And here we get 545. And I know I'm going to have a negative 45. So y equals a negative 45. And my ordered pair should be 14 and negative 45. Again, we can check this. So let's do this in black. If I do the check, I'm going to move down a little bit. Oops, my original equation was, I'll do the first one. So 6 times 14 plus a negative 45. We're wondering, does that equal 39? Well, 6 times 14, again, we said that's just 84. And is 84 plus a negative 45, does that equal 39? Well, if I subtract those, 84 minus 45, we get 14 minus 5 is 9, and 7 minus 4 is 39. So we get 39. So it works with our first equation. Our second equation, it's 2 times 14 plus the negative 45, and we're wondering, does that equal a negative 17? Well, 2 times 14 is 28, and we do 28 plus a negative 45. Does that equal 17? Again, we can check it by just taking our 45 and subtracting the 28, knowing that our answer is going to be negative. And if we subtract that, we get 17, negative 17 again. So we know that this is correct, that we have a negative 17 for our answer. So again, the check gave us confirmation that our answer was correct.